What is the Portland culture?
That's kind of what we're trying to discover.
Right on. I think that they're pretty laid back and cool. Sometimes can be a little antisocial, but generally pretty chill. I think people get reclusive because they're stuck inside because of the rain a lot, and that makes them antisocial. But that's about the only complaint I would have.
I'm from the East Coast, so people out here are different. Quite different. A lot slower. I mean, not like, they move slower. It's great. People on the East Coast have like their heads stuck in their butt. People out here kind of have their heads in the clouds. It's great.
Red kind of clouds.
Yeah, red kind of clouds. Like,
I would say people are pretty easygoing, except there's so many people like us out here that it gets a little tiresome, gets a little much, you know what I mean? So I mean, other than that, I mean, people are pretty cool. They just seen this shit too much, you know. They kind of get burnt out on people like us.
So what do you mean, people like you?
Just like travelers, backpackers. You can go with like the home bums, people who never leave the town. You know, you see us all over the place, so people just get burnt out. But for the most part, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I moved here 32 years ago from Colorado. I came to Portland because I heard I heard about the creative culture here. You know, it's got a good music scene, a good art scene. Richmond, a lot of people compared Richmond to Portland, and I heard of it quite a few times, which made me interested. One, I had a few friends that took, I actually took a road trip coming out here, and I didn't know I was going to end up in Portland, but it's about as far west as I could go before I went to Hawaii. And I had a job lined up out there, it didn't work out, so I came back to Portland, and now I'm here. And it seems to be a cheap, or not cheap, an inexpensive place to live while you're honing creative projects, and it seems to be a lot of people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's people aren't trying to go out and live this crazy rich lifestyle that they will in other cities.
I think the entire West pulls people from the East Coast because there's fewer roads.
Mm-hmm.
It's that there's less people, there's less of your mental space being bombarded at all times by lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of other people.
So is that why you came out here? Or?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
That is why I'm in the West.
Awesome.
Way fewer people.
Me personally, no. I'm part of the West Coast culture.
Yeah.
But Portland per se, no.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely not Portland culture. I've been here for like 10 days total.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Portland's
most
definitely a hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you want to put it in that those kind of terms, yeah, we are kind of part of the culture. Because I never seen this on the East Coast. Never saw it in Connecticut, I guess. I can't really say the East Coast.
Yeah.
Just Connecticut. Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, what's your experience in Portland been like? Like, what are some of the things you've done and seen?
It's been stony.
It's been stony, yeah. It's been great.
Yeah, I just finally realized a lot of my friends that have disappeared all apparently live here. So I've been sticking around since like the beginning of this summer. You know, I've had like a couple of different couches to go crash on since I've been here, so it's been pretty convenient for me.
Well, I just kind of meandered in today for the first time. Swung into Powell's because I heard about it.
Yeah.
It's cool. I really like the way that you can see a mountain from the middle of the city and looking up. You see the shit's coming through. It seems like it's really, of the bigger cities I've been to, it seems more tied into the green, which is always fun.
You know, I think there are places like this all over Portland for visual artists and for filmmakers and, you know, every kind of artist imaginable. And I think, you know, in a place that provides support, we've noticed that it seems to be Boulder, Colorado, Austin, Texas, and Portland, and people just kind of shift back and forth in the music world because these are the three places where there are really support systems for local artists.
It's down home. It's almost all acoustic, you know, folk. And not only that, but during times of like trouble, people in music seem to get kind of more towards the folk culture scene. There seems to be a big uprising, especially with youth.
You know, this has been kind of a musical hub since the very beginning. I talked to the original founder who founded it in '71, and she said, you know, it was never a retail store, ever. It was always a place, a gathering place for musicians to swap tunes and share ideas and to develop network of people and that sort of thing. And it's always been that. And we're now a non-profit, so we have a music school with 30 teachers, so we're starting brand new musicians to helping people grow as a musician. And then we have the performance space, which gives local musicians a place, a venue to play, which, as you know, and this is a listening room. So it's not a place where your background music in a bar. I mean, when people are on our stage, there's an audience listening.
It seems to me that folk is the new punk. It's definitely the new punk.
You know, from a music standpoint, I think one of the cool things about Portland is that it hadn't changed that much. You know, this is, if you would have come in artichoke music 30 years ago, you would have found people sitting around the table playing music. You would have, and it was a much smaller space at the time, but you would have seen exactly the same stuff. They didn't have a concert venue in those days, but what we had was we'd move all the instruments to the side, set up chairs, and we had concerts in the stores. So it's just always been that way. So.
Artists that have long since practiced this type of music, but have all of a sudden found a new following because that's where it's headed. You know, and it's a great thing. You know, it's kind of getting all that electric bullshit is kind of going off the side, and you know, there's been a great acoustic folk, you know, kind of psychedelic type of thing. And Portland seems to be a great hub for that. You know, a lot of other cities are trying to do the same. Richmond being one of them is a good folk music scene. It's still big in metal over there, but yeah, it seems to be the way that a lot of cities, or at least the counterculture, wants to go. Portland's a very young city as well, and you know, it seems to be like one of the better hubs for it.
On Saturday afternoons, we have song circles, jam sessions, opportunities for everybody from well-established, accomplished musicians to people that are really learning to get together and play music. I think the thing that defines this place is that it's a community. It's not a venue, it's not a store, it's not a school. It is really a community where people can connect and get engaged. You know, I think we're really lucky, and we can't take it for granted. You know, it's one of those things that's just really, places like Artichoke and musicians are all struggling just to make it You know, the another thing that hadn't changed in those 30 years is musicians are probably making about the same as they were making in those days.
Yeah.
You know, there's been, you know, you still go to a gig and spend 3 hours and walk away with $40, you know, if that.
A lot of different stuff, a lot of old folky stuff, kind of sometimes some hippy dippy type stuff, you know. A lot of like Bob Dylan and Neil Young.
Right.
All right, let's see what do we got. Well, first thing I remember was lonesome West alone and boys dream growing up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I was bound. No one could steer me right to Mama's house. Oh, Daddy rest his soul, let my mom heavy load. Mama tried so very hard with his shoes. Despite all my Sunday learning towards bad, kept on turning. Mama tried raising me right, but I refused. Turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. One could steer me right. Mama tried raising me better, but bleeding inside tonight. He's only me blamed 'cause Mama tried. Mama seen it over, they didn't stole. Long hours without rest, Mama tried to do the best till Mama couldn't hold me anymore. Turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. One could steer me right, Mama tried, raised me better, but bleeding inside tonight. It was only me blamed 'cause Mama tried.